Did you know that we can use the illustrations in our children's book not just to tell our story visually, but to also take it to a completely new level for the kids that are reading our book and also for the grown-ups that read our book with them? That's what this video is all about. Visual techniques we can use for our children's book to help it stand out and take our beautiful book to the next level. Hi there, I'm Eevi, an award-winning children's author and ghostwriter over on eevijones.com and the creator of Children's Book University. I create videos specifically for children's authors, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my weekly videos. In one of my previous videos, I shared that unlike authors of most other genres, we children's authors are in this really unique position that enables us to use the illustrations on our title page in truly creative ways. I added the link to that video in the description below. I was so happy to see so many love the ideas that I shared in that video, so I wanted to take it to the next level and apply this concept to our entire book, not just the title page. Many children's authors focus very much on the written part of their story, but how can we make the absolute most of the visual elements of our children's books as well, our illustrations? So in this video, we will look at 7 truly unique techniques that I have noticed over the years that we can use to take our book illustrations to the next level, and that will not only help us tie our story together visually even more, but that will also engage our little readers as well as the grown-ups in their lives. Some of these techniques are perfect for standalone books, and some will work especially well if we are creating a book series. And I have examples for each and saved the most impactful and brilliant technique for last. So let's jump right in. The first visual technique we can use to elevate our illustrations is to have certain elements that repeat in every illustration that in turn will help tie all the different pages together visually. This element doesn't have to be anything big. In fact, the more it blends into each scene or illustration, the better. The first example that I always love sharing is from Mercer Mayer's Little Critter series, which has a hidden spider, mouse, or frog on every single one of its pages. When I read these books with my boys when they were little, we loved to try to find them on each page. So besides having an additional cohesive theme that ties the entire series together, using this fun technique also gets little ones excited to turn every single page and be the first ones to discover those hidden elements. The second example is from my book Forever My Always in my Life's Biggest Moments series, a book that is meant to be gifted to newly graduating students, whether that's their high school graduation or their college graduation. Here, every page features a red string. That's a design idea of mine that I'm really so proud of, because not only is the red string stretching across each page, but if we lined up all the book's pages next to each other, this string would also be one continuous string that stretches from page 1 at the beginning of the book all the way to the end of the book, very much representing how we grow and how our actions impact and influence all that is to come. That's probably one of my favorite design features I've ever come up with for one of my own books. The second technique we can use to elevate our visual storytelling is to have hidden surprises sprinkled throughout our story, or elements that little readers won't see or find the first time they read the book. Here, the co-authored book, The Magic of Words, is such a beautiful example where I wanted little readers to switch back and forth between reality and make-believe worlds. And so in one of the illustrations, for example, we see the mountain range in the background, which when looking closely is actually a sleeping giant. A second fun example is from the book Goodnight Gorilla by Peggy Rathman, which is packed with hidden surprises, including repeating elements I shared under the first technique earlier. First of all, each animal has a stuffed toy version of themselves in their cage that I have circled here. Second, the color of each cage is different for each animal and corresponds to the color of each key used for that cage. Third, each page shows a little mouse and a banana the mouse is carrying around. This banana isn't eaten until the very last page. And fourth, most of the pages show a red balloon floating across the night sky. So this book is packed with little surprises to be discovered by its little readers over and over again. The third technique we can use to elevate our visual storytelling is to have have hidden Easter eggs that are meaningful to us as the author. A great example is the book My Money Bunnies that I wrote for Mike Michalowicz. Here I wanted to hide elements that either paid homage to Mike's other books like Profit First or Clockwork, or things that were part of his family's life. For example, Daisy was the name of his family's dog, and Sunrise Lane was the name of the street his family used to live on. The fourth technique we can use to elevate our visual storytelling is to use color to help us tell our story. Here, one of my favorite examples is The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig, where a boy is illustrated only with a black pen, while his environment incorporates all the colors of the rainbow. In the story, the lack of color represents how invisible the boy feels, and as he becomes more and more confident, he changes from being illustrated with just a black pen to a fully colored part like the rest of his environment. The second example is from my book My Vision Quest, where I used color to show the progression of the little girl's dream that is represented by a red balloon. The book starts out with black and white illustrations and with a small red balloon, and the more the girl believes in her dream, the bigger the balloon grows and the more color the illustrations gain. And the people around her that too start to believe in her dream gain color as well, until her entire environment is dipped in color, representing the change where the girl's vision becomes a reality. The fifth technique we can use to elevate our visual storytelling works great if we have more than one book already, and that's to have one of our earlier characters make a cameo appearance in our newer books. Mo Willem does this all the time and I absolutely love it. In the very back of his Elephant and Piggy books, he often features visual cameos from either the Pigeon or Nuffle Bunny or one of his other popular creations, and it's always so much fun hunting for them. Peggy Rathman's book 10 Minutes Till Bedtime is another beautiful example. Here this book has a cameo of the gorilla from Goodnight Gorilla in it, and Officer Buckle and his dog from the book Officer Buckle and Gloria make an appearance as well. As an author, this is such a beautiful way of incorporating our own characters that we have created with our own stories. Another wonderful cameo can be found in Margaret Wise Brown's book Goodnight Moon, where one of the paintings in the bedroom is actually a scene from her book Runaway Bunny. And there's also a little white mouse on each of the full color spreads in Goodnight Moon, a hidden treasure on nearly every page. The sixth visual technique we can use to elevate our illustrations is to make our front and back cover part of our story, or tying our front and back cover together visually somehow. My favorite example for this is the first Little Blue Truck book. On the front cover, we see the little blue truck from the front with all the animal friends on its back and with the morning sunrise in the background. And on the back cover, we see the little blue truck now from the back with all the animal friends also shown from the back. And all of them, the animals and the truck, are dirty now, covered in mud from helping out in the story. And they are driving into the sunset. This is just so beautiful and so well thought out by the illustrator. And finally, the seventh visual technique, and one of my absolute favorites that we can use to elevate our illustrations, is to hint toward the next book in the series. Lemony's Snicket series of unfortunate events does this so well. Each final picture of each book hints toward or foreshadows the happenings of the next book in that series. The last illustration in book 1, for example, shows a snake that is wrapped around a light pole, foreshadowing the snakes that can be found in book 2. And again, this foreshadowing happens in every single book in this series. There are so many more categories we could create here. I absolutely love these kinds of things. That's truly what makes children's books so special and exciting, because there's so much we can do with our illustrations, so much we can tell and share without words. I've been wanting to make this video for such a long time, so I really hope that this got your creative juices flowing and that you are excited to come up with your own ideas for your storyboard for your beautiful children's book. If you need any help with the illustration process, make sure to watch my other videos on just that. I have added the links in the description below. And if you need help finding and reaching out to illustrators safely, don't forget about my Illustrator Survival Kit that includes word-for-word outreach scripts you can use, an illustrator agreement form, and templates to create your own storyboard. One of my biggest tips will always be to be really intentional with every single element of our book, be it our cover, be it our title and subtitle, our title page, our dedication, or our illustrations. That's why I have created a video on every single one of these parts, so make sure you don't miss any of them. I hope you found this video really helpful and that it gave you a number of ideas you can share with your illustrator so you too can take your illustrations to the next level. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. It really encourages me to keep making free videos for you just like this one. Here's to making our illustrations even more beautiful, giving our little readers new and exciting things to discover and find every single time they read our book. Bye!